A fantastic performance in Week 1 for Iowa Western Reaver football. Week 2, a less hyped but more experienced opponent, and one that the Reavers are certainly more familiar with. The Blue Dragons of Hutchinson. Last year, it was a tight game that came down to the wire. Would this year be a better finish for the Reavers or another nail-biter? We'll find out next. It's the Stroh Show, and it's coming up on CBTV 17 and the Reaver Sports Network. From the studios of CBTV 17 in Council Bluffs, Iowa, this is the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show. I'm Jake Ryan, joined by the head coach of the Iowa Western Reivers, head coach Scott Strohmeyer. Coach, you saw the tape. Is Hutchinson more of the team that was down 25-0 or the team that rallied and beat Coffeyville 50-42?
Well, I thought it was the rallied. In the first one, they were down 25. They basically gave a lot of points away, and they had 30 or 18 penalties or something like that in that first game, and just everything that could have went wrong in that first quarter and a half went wrong.
Well, let's check the highlights from Saturday's game, Iowa Western and Hutchinson. It's a blue out, and here we come. Reavers out of the tunnel. Of course, the Iowa National Guard on board as a sponsor of the Reavers this season. We're excited to have them along for the ride. Opening kickoff, Nick Singleton, freshman with a pretty good rip, finds a hole, gets to the outside. And one thing we didn't notice on this end of this return was he was slow to get up. Nick ends up having to be taken to the hospital. Is he okay?
Yeah, he'll be out for a little while. He had collarbone dislocated his collarbone, and will be out for 4 weeks or so.
That sounds absolutely horrible. There's something that wasn't horrible. Kurt Walding, nice run to start the drive. You talked about the fact that you thought the quarterback runs would work, and then how about this strike right down the middle to Vincent Perry?
It's good. Did a nice job stepping up in the pocket, buying himself some time, waiting for the defender to clear.
And Anthony Turner, I'll tell you what, it's good to have a 6'4" guy that can outleap the defender. Great catch there for Anthony Turner.
For sure, and he's a sophomore. He's really been big in the first couple games, and we need him to continue to make some plays.
Little screen pass for Hutch, then a high snap. Number 4, Chester Graves. How did he stay up? Did not touch the turf. Scrambles in from 21 yards out for the score, and even despite the tackle at the end of the play, pretty good little dark side touchdown for the Reavers. You're up 14-0.
Well, it's good to get up on these guys because they have some firepower. We're missing too many tackles on the special teams here to give them great field position after we're up 2 scores.
Yeah, talk about the special teams tackling. There's been some great tackles, and then there's been some big rips of returns as well.
For sure. It just comes down to we have a bunch of new guys on there and just guys making plays. We got to find ways to tackle better, though.
Running back Waller scoring the touchdown there, and Mike Hill, nice catch as he comes in. Played well without Nick Singleton in there. A lot of Mike Hill in this game.
He did. He had a really good game, and coming in, we know how talented he is. It's just taken, a little bit to understand everything that we're doing, but, he stepped up and had to make a big...
Walding slips it again, gets a first down. Nice play. You saw last week he fumbled on that play. This time he pulls it back, gets out of bounds, and then another strike to the sideline, just a little bit outside of the reach of Mekhi Sargent. You turn it over on downs there.
Yeah, now those are the ones you got to have. There's kind of a little miscommunication as you're scrambling. You got scramble rules or what, but we got to convert those.
More of the the wide receiver game as they hand off on the end around. And now Cam Jones going to work again across the middle. How about this play by Colton Dinsdale? They called it a fumble on the field. It looked more like an interception to me.
Yeah, I thought for sure, it looked like it was a fumble. And then we recovered, but like I said, they called an interception.
Well, they actually called a fumble. I didn't think he had possession of it when it slipped out. But you get the turnover, go to work. Here's another one to Mike Hill down the sideline, inside the red zone, and the Reavers setting up again here in the second quarter.
Yeah, this is a good one. When we get down there, we got to score, and Kurt did a nice job. We executed that play pretty well.
It's got to feel good when you walk into the end zone untouched, as Mekhi Sargent was there. So it's 21-7 Reavers, and then another tough run. B.J. Emmons, a transfer out of Alabama for Hutch. He was a tough runner.
Yeah, he is. He's got a little bit of speed, and he's got good balance, good vision. We knew coming in he was going to be a tough one.
6 foot 237. Reavers coming after him. There's Brandon Mangrum finally making the tackle, although Jones was on his way down. Get the ball back. You put Kai Loxley in, and Kai doing some good things on his feet as well.
He did. That's what we need him to do, is make some plays with his feet.
You'll end up punting it away, and another good return. This time it's Deshaun Waller down the sideline. And good field position again for Hutch. They trail here 21-7. and then go back to work. They had a quartet of running backs. This time it's Otis Williams, who was one of the returners from last season.
Yeah, when you got that unlimited out of state, that's huge there, getting up with special teams, that turnover.
Big block for the Reivers as they get the punt block on the second game of the game, or the second game of the year. I know that Coach Crane was saying, don't be surprised if we get a punt block, but that was in week 1. So we have to wait until week 2 to see it. Loxley rolls out, looking down the field. Another good run inside the red zone and all the way, well, basically down inside the 10. Unfortunately for Iowa Western, couldn't capitalize as he is sacked. Kai goes down. Good penetration for Hutch's defense.
Yeah, that one there, we can't take a negative. We didn't execute the play very well, and unfortunately came out of that thing with no points, first and goal from the 5.
Joe Smith, good job getting the tackle, and then a couple plays later, you get the turnover again. And then Walding, you try that corner spot, and this time unlucky bounce. Bounces right off of Taj Telfair into the hands of Quinn Head, who is a return man, and the half ends 21-7. It wasn't a terrible looking half, but definitely some missed opportunities.
For sure. I thought we didn't do great in some of our coverage units, and we had 2 times inside the red zone that we didn't score. So you got to say we got to come out of there at least with 7 more points to be 28-7, but to be 21-7, we know we got another strong 30 minutes ahead.
Yep, tighter game, but some breathing room for the Reivers. Second half highlights are coming up. Hutch looking for a second consecutive comeback win. Can Iowa Western hang on in the second? More of the Stroh Show right here and right after this on CBTV 17 and the Reivers Sports Network.
Got a quarter?
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
At the Council Bluffs Recycling Center, we're proud of the effort our community makes to help keep Council Bluffs beautiful by participating in our curbside recycling program. Here are some tips to make sure your recyclables are accepted. If you're confused about plastics, we can help. Numbers 1 through 5 plastic food and beverage containers are acceptable. Usually the recycling triangle and the number inside are located on the bottom of containers. Items we don't take include numbers 6 and 7 plastics, styrofoam, or bags of any sort, although we encourage recycling plastic bags inside local grocery stores. Please be sure to check the calendar in our annual mailer or on our website to find out what items will be picked up each week. Blue Week items for your curbside bin include paper, cardboard, and glass containers. Green Week items for your curbside bin include plastic food and beverage containers, tin and aluminum containers, and tin foil. Thank you for helping us keep Council Bluffs beautiful.
From the studios of CBTV 17 at the Canesville Center on the campus of Iowa Western Community College, Jake Ryan, head coach Scott Strohmeyer. Well, Coach, you go into the half, 21-7. We talked about missed opportunities. I know you don't probably second-guess yourself much, but it seemed like there was a couple times inside the 5-yard line or inside the 10-yard line that you had a couple of chances. You've got the running backs this year with Mekhi Sargent, T-Boy White. Do you ever think, okay, well, maybe we'll keep them off balance here by throwing the ball because they know we've got those weapons?
Yeah, well, and sometimes they packed us in the box and they outnumbered us to try to make us throw. That was part of the reason why. But looking back, if you turn it over and try to take your chances a couple times for sure. But I think a lot of times, like I said, they really did a good job of Our yards in the first half, we ran a little bit better, but they were tough going, partly because of the defense they play.
And you knew you were going to run into some problems as far as running the ball, just the way they play the defense. Right?
For sure, and they're well coached, so they schemed us a little bit, and we had some answers, but when they have one more or two more guys than you, it's pretty hard. You can't block them all, so you got to throw it a little bit.
How about the quarterback runs that seemed to work early in the game? It seemed like you went away from those later.
Yeah, well, and I think part of that is they adjusted a little bit too as well and took us out of some of that stuff. But looking back, maybe you do continue to do it.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be a heavy quarterback run team either, just because you got to limit some of the hits that those guys take as well.
Sure. All right, let's check out the second half. Coach Rhodes making adjustments, and right away it'll be Hutch with the football at Titan Stadium. It was a blew out, and we thank all the first responders that came out on the day. And look at that big boy, 6 foot 237, B.J. Emmons. He will get finally pushed out of bounds on that far sideline, but he certainly had his way. And then Otis Williams, one of the faster backs for Hutchinson.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they have a slew full of backs there that are pretty darn good.
They'll throw to the outside. Pretty good catch and hit right away. That's a good sign in the backfield, is that at least your guys are getting there almost immediately when the ball is caught.
We are, and I think the big stress that we had is not give them anything over the top, and our back end really did a good job. They didn't really try to, but at the same time, we tried to keep everything in front.
Stumbling, bumbling into the end zone. B.J. Emmons scores there. Mike Hill again. You said he separated his shoulder during the game. That was a heck of a performance by him.
For sure. He's a tough kid, and he kept fighting, and we needed him.
Speaking of keep fighting, Mekhi Sargent, good run up the middle. Kurt running out of trouble, throws down the field, and the strike. We could have had one or two receivers there, and instead of the man that was running down, it was Vincent Perry that caught it on the sideline. I thought the pass was intended for Jordan at first.
Yeah, well, we had a little mix-up in our protection that made it a little bit tougher, otherwise we probably would have hit him in stride.
T-Boy White didn't see the field as much as he did in week one, but, well, the Reivers didn't run as well as they did in week one. Walding getting, some pressure and then throwing it into the ground. Intentional grounding penalty. Did you talk to Kurt about that play?
Yeah, he just didn't want to take a sack, but we can't do that either. We got a field goal out of it, but again, that's another opportunity. We got to get points.
Reivers get the ball back. Apparently it was slick because Hutchinson didn't hang on to it very well, and then Walding runs to the sideline. Another first down converted for Iowa Western.
Yeah, it was really good. Like I said, we did a good job of this one. We didn't take a sack, but for the most part, we got out of trouble.
So Hutch will get the ball back. Again, it's 21-14 Reivers at this point. This is a man that caught quite a few yards of passing. They had 5 passes for like 250 yards last week against Coffeyville. They didn't have much of that against you guys, but they did find their weapons and found them well, especially with Deshaun Waller here.
They did a good job, running the football. They did a good job of game planning us as well.
So Cam Jones, I take it back. It was 21-7 at that point. Now 21-14. Reivers looking to, maybe answer back. Mekhi Sargent down that left sideline. Good run again for Mekhi.
Yeah, it was good to get a little bit something going, but again, the way they pressure and the way they play, we just couldn't get something sustained.
Walding down the middle, right through to the slot man, Mike Hill again. He puts it in the air, first down. Hutch will get the ball back again. Deshaun Waller to the far side.
I thought our defense did a good job. For the most part, this is just an effort deal. 2 guys tried cutting them, and he just avoided them both and just kept going.
Now, it looked like to me that he was on top of Chester until he was in the end zone. Not a safety on that one?
It was pretty close. I thought so too from the sidelines, but on the end zone camera that we have, he was just shy.
Reivers still trying to buy some breathing room. 21-14 at this point. A rollout and a nice catch by their tight end.
Yeah, they have a couple big tight ends that they use. They like I said, they did a nice job of just kind of moving things around.
Yeah, they caught it. He got it to him a couple times, including, I believe, coming up here, we'll see it again. Cam Jones, where's he from? The quarterback.
I'm not sure if he was I think he was just coming out of high school last year. I don't know, maybe Arkansas State or something like that is where he might have transferred from.
Played very well. I thought he kept the game pretty well intact. He didn't panic, even with that front line coming after him the entire game, he played very well in the backfield.
He did, and he's had a kind of his past or history of taking some chances and throwing some picks, and their game plan coming in wasn't for him to put him in bad spots, but luckily we got a few turnovers on the ground.
Reivers stringing out Otis Williams again. Nice job by Kyle Hemby. I thought Brandon Mangrum played a good game as far as getting those running backs strung out as well.
Yeah, and anytime you see the athletes that they have, this scares you a little bit. They can run. Those 2, 10 and 12, they're pretty good.
Yeah, there's Jawan Johnson right there, number 10. We talked about how he hadn't done much the entire game.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, like I said, we were thinking they were just going to try to run by us and throw some balls deep, but they had a different plan.
So they throw to the corner of the end zone a little bit high. Desmond Lockett on the coverage for the Reivers, and they'll give it again to Waller. Pushes him back. Eddie Ogamba, a couple field goals. I believe at this point, Coach, it's 27-21.
Yeah.
This looks like their final drive.
Yeah, it is. That was 4th down there.
Heck of a run to convert it. Jones to the far side. There's the tight end on the catch and dragging him down. Nice job by Lockett helping to finish him off. Initial ankle tackle. Jones keeping this one alive. And how about this sliding catch down at the 2? Pretty terrific catch. Right there, it's 4th down, I believe, 4th and goal from the 2. And then, well, all sorts of things happen in between there. What did we have? We had the personal foul on the end of that, which gave him 1st and goal at the 1. And then they try to get set up, and then they go offside. You run the clock out. I mean, I've never seen a game end like that, where that last one where you saw the plunge for the touchdown. What do they call it? Legal formation? Somebody wasn't
false
set.
start. False start.
Yeah, the false start. So the 10-second runoff, and you guys win 27-21. Pretty amazing way to end it.
I've never been a part of something like that. You're going through, okay, how, we got to stop them here, and we got the personal foul, which was not very, that was tough because now they even moved it closer the way they've been pounding it in there. We needed one stop, and then they false start. I didn't know that they'd throw the flag. We've been calling every time they did that throughout the course of the game. We were pointing it out to the officials because it seemed like they'd get up there, get set. They wouldn't be set for a second and go. Right. So maybe the complaining helped us at the last play of the game, but it was more to it than that. We had missed opportunities. I'm sure they think the same thing, but 2 good teams going at it, and it ended in crazy fashion.
Hey, here's what matters most. You guys are 2-0
for sure
on the season. Reivers will take on Fort Scott next week, and when we come back, we will talk with one of the heroes. Was it a fumble? Was it an interception? Maybe we can get to the bottom of it as linebacker Colton Dinsdale stops by with IWTV student Brent Pentecost when we return. You're watching the Coach Stroh Show, the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show right here on CBTV 17 and the Reivers Sports Network.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
The Coach Show continues here on CBTV 17. I'm IWTV student Brent Pentecost, along with sophomore linebacker Colton Dinsdale. Welcome to the show, Colton.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So you're a sophomore this year, coming off of a knee injury last year. What was the rehab like trying to get back to playing time this year?
It was pretty tough, I'm not going to lie. Right away getting hurt and then going into surgery, I started rehab right away. I mean, it was probably an 8-month-long rehab session through the spring ball and through the summer. But, I mean, hours and hours of rehab got me back here. So usually they say it takes up to a year, but I'm back a lot sooner than that. So.
And it was an ACL tear, right?
ACL, MCL, medial lateral meniscus, yep.
Awesome. That's always a fun one.
Everything in the knee but the LCL, so.
Gotcha. So you're obviously one of the leaders on the team being a sophomore, kind of pulling double duty, linebacker, and you're the long snapper for special teams. What's it like a day of practice for you guys?
I mean, it's usually me and Nick Anderson because he's a sophomore too on the linebacker crew. We usually just, I don't know, take the lead role with Coach Cox. He kind of trusts us. I mean, we lead some drills. We lead the stretching. I mean, we just take over. If kids have questions, they can come ask us, and I mean, we'll tell them what to do. So, I mean, it's pretty fun. I mean, I don't try to be overconfident or anything being a sophomore. I'm just playing the role and letting kids come and do their job, I guess. I don't know.
Understandable. So far, you guys 2-0. Big win first week, obviously blowout. This week, you had the questionable.
Yeah.
Did you have? Well, let's get the answer from you. Was it a fumble or an interception?
It was an interception because Dorian hit him across the middle, and I think it bounced off his shoulder pad before it hit the ground, and just so happened to pop into my hands, and I kept it above the turf a little bit, and they called it an interception. So
either way, great play.
Yeah, thank you.
Perseverance in the game there. You guys got up quick and then kind of let Hutchinson come back. What were some of the stuff that you were saying to some of the younger players and maybe your other sophomores on the team to try and keep I guess the faith in the team going?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, early on we were handling pretty well, and then we just faced a lot of adversity. They kept getting first downs and all that, but I mean, we stuck together throughout the end, and I mean, we stopped them on the goal line somehow. I mean, with that penalty, and I mean, we got the W, so that's all that matters.
The W is what matters the most. So I have a quick question. We've heard you do a pretty good Coach Stroh impression.
Stroh impression? I don't know anything about that. Nope. That's not me.
Not you, not you at all.
No.
All right. Well, so far this year, you guys have Fort Scott coming up.
Yep.
Preparations for the weekend?
Just got to come into practice every day, willing to work. I mean, I call last week kind of our hangover week off Independence. I mean, Independence was a good team, but I don't know if we were overconfident last week, but I don't know, we got to come to work this week and just take Fort Scott just like any other week. So
get back to work and get on the grind again.
Absolutely.
Colton, thanks for joining us today on the Coach Stroh Show. He's Colton Dinsdale, starting linebacker for the Reivers. I'm Brent Pentecost. When we return, Jake and the coach will be back to wrap up this week's show. You're watching it on CBTV 17 and the Reivers Sports Network.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Back on the set of the Coach Stroh Show at CBTV 17 in Council Bluffs, I'm Jake Ryan with the head football coach of the Iowa Western Reivers, head coach Scott Strohmeyer. Hall of Fame and Fort Scott this homecoming weekend. How cool is it to see among those inductees, the first Reaver football player to go in to the Hall of Fame with Jared Ebert?
Well, when I first heard it, obviously excited. You know, I mean, he's the first one. He was on the inaugural team. Obviously, one of our first big-time signees when he went to University of Oregon, was an All-American here. Kind of one of the first Iowa kids in that class of a few others, but that was under-recruited out of high school and kind of set the stage. So
you know that it's homecoming. You know that the community color run is on Saturday morning. You know the parade is on Saturday morning. The tailgate, everybody, it's all building up. You've got Hall of Fame into Saturday. A lot going on, obviously, as every homecoming weekend is. Fort Scott, one of those teams that, okay, you see it on the schedule, we should get a win if you're looking at it. I know that's not going to be that easy, though. Tell us about the Greyhounds.
No, you know, and I think that the whole thing is this year, every team. I mean, they're 0-2. You know, they lost to a good Butler team, and then, you know, they got beat by Independence, which was closer than people thought, too. So they got some good players for sure. Our main focus this week, you know, I told them I don't care who our opponent is, we got to get better. I mean, we made some mistakes, that we didn't make in week one. You know, some of the discipline situations that we had, a couple personal fouls, and just some mental errors that against a good team, that's why it's 27-21. You know, the week before we didn't have those and they had, and we won 70-21. So, you know, we got to shore up some things there. We're banged up, and but you know, Fort Scott has some talent on their team, just like every one of those Jayhawks do now with unlimited out-of-staters, and they got guys they can move on and off. Where, you know, we're sitting there, we got a guy out of state injured, and we got to see which one of our out-of-staters we can move on. We don't have a full roster full, so we just can't move everybody. But, you know, that's the nature of it right now, and we're okay. But we're ready for it. You know, it's going to be a tough battle for sure.
Yeah, night game, a planned night game, which will be good. The last night game we had at Titan Stadium, not planned, and it did not go very well. But it'll be the Reivers and the Greyhounds of Fort Scott. 6 o'clock kickoff, a full weekend plan. Not only, as I said, is the Hall of Fame banquet scheduled for Friday night with Jared Ebert, also John Lieber going in, Derwin Kitchen, and head coach Jim Morris. It's a great class, so we invite you to check out GoReivers.com to see how you can be part of that audience. But we've also got a full Saturday lineup as well. Starts with the community color run at 8 a.m. right here on campus. A chance to come out and get dirty with the kids, just with the poofs of color. You'd be like your own LeBron James. Also, the 4th annual parade commences on the 100 block of Broadway at 10 a.m. Then the pregame tailgate. It is free. Free tailgate starts at 4 with music from the Polka Police. And again, I don't know if I've said it or not already, it is free. Free food, drinks, entertainment. Just show up and come out and enjoy. Polka Police is good, Coach. You'd like them in the locker room, I think. That's all made possible by Barley's Bar and Grill and Glory Days Bar and Grill. Polka Police being brought in by the IWCC Alumni Association. And the kickoff, again, will be at 6 o'clock. We'll bring you that broadcast on 89.7 The River and, of course, NJCAA TV via CBTV 17. For head coach Scott Strohmeyer, linebacker Colton Dinsdale, IWTV student Brent Pentecost, and the hardworking crew of CBTV 17, I'm Jake Ryan. We will talk to you Saturday. Until then, wear your blue, be loud and proud about your Iowa Western Reivers.